Yo, what's up YouTube? Brody here out of another session today. I was working again with Crim and we wanted to do some Underoath static dress kind of vibes for this one and that like early 2000s post-hardcore kind of thing. I wanted to run through a little bit of what we did and talk about how we got to this point with it. I think it sounds really cool. I think it sounds very like period accurate while like also being fresh, being unique, being modern. I'll kind of play through a little bit of it and show you guys. Then it plays the chorus, and then I'll kind of move forward to verse 2. And yeah, that's it. That's what we got right now. We're going to have to revisit this at another session to finish it. We only did like half of the song, but I want to talk about like the choices we made that led us to sounding this way, led us to this vibe. So for the guitar, I was using my Jackson V over here. It has a Seymour Duncan JB pickup in the bridge, which is like very go-to humbucker for like less modern metal music. I'm having that go into my PV VTM 120, which essentially is somewhere between like a hot rodded Marshall JCM 800 and like a PV 5150 kind of amp. I chose this specifically because I know that Underoath was a big proponent of the JCM 800, 900 amps. They used that with the Gibson SGs a ton, I know, in their earlier music, and that was like the sound of a lot of post-hardcore music, not just them. So I wanted to keep that for the tone. I intentionally kept the tone a little bit pulled back gain-wise until the breakdown. It's distorted, but I didn't distort it as much as I could have, and I'm not running any boosts aside from the breakdown. It's just straight into the amp tone, and I think that that like looser, less tight chugging sound is very definitive of that like era. So you can hear it in this verse section. It's still very big, very aggressive sounding, but on the palm mute, you can hear that it's not as like intense as it could be. I think it really, not as intense, but as like metal as it could be. And I think that really helps keep it in this world. When we hit this breakdown is when I turn on my overdrive pedal into my amp to push it a little bit harder. Then it sounds like this. Gives it some more bite compared to... But that like looseness, that like kind of vintagey sound, I love. This is like tone comparison, but different genre, obviously. I'm real into doom metal, and I love how heavy they can make their songs sound with using like the most like big, bassy, overwhelming tones as compared to like a tight surgical kind of thing. And I think that same thing is applied in this type of music. So yeah, we have that rhythm guitar. Signal chain is pretty simple. I have some soothe and I'm notching out some frequencies. I'm keeping the low end in check with some multi-band compression and a little bit of room reverb that I automate the room reverb up on this section just to get some side frequency on the right hand side. But that's all that's happening there. It's pretty simple. We have this lead happening too. Same chain in the DAW, but I'm running it through a delay and reverb pedal before the distortion. So I'm not running it in the effects loops. I'm running it before it hits distortion. And that's how you get that weird cloudy, shoegazy, break-up-y kind of thing. Hear that again a lot in early post-hardcore guitar leads. A lot of like early Bring Me the Horizon does that too. I feel like it's a fun way to make the guitar sound, make it sound like dirtier and less clean. It's kind of almost like shoegazy. Next, we have some texture. I'm learning my ebow and slide combo that I use a lot. I usually do it on acoustic, but this time I did it on the Jackson as well, just to keep it more aggressive. Sounds like screaming. It complements that riser, gets really intense, and it complements that lead guitar really well. Next, I have this pad that I made through my guitar as well. I'm running it through halftime to pitch it down an octave and blend it, but without that, it sounds like this. And it's that same guitar lead tone. The only difference is it's just a reverb tail that I'm playing. Again, if you watch my videos, I do that all the time as like a quick synth pad thing. Play a note, let it reverb, and record that reverb tail as like a texture. From there, we hit the bass. It's really nice sounding. It's a split signal of a clean DI running through this Ampeg SVT, and then going into my guitar amp for the dirt sound. So you can hear just the dirt. And then the DI. Then we're kind of comping it together to glue it. Love that sound. I'm doing this thing. I do it a lot with my bass guitar. If I wanted to keep it very almost like sub bass sine wave, like I don't like dynamics and the super sub frequency stuff. So I am doing this multi-band compression at an infinite ratio just to keep the low end as stable as it can be. Love that tone. I'm hardly doing any quantizing on the guitars here either. I want everything to feel as natural as possible. I want it to be kind of raw and messy. The only thing I'm doing is a little bit on the bass because I want that to really lock in with the drums. And then on that guitar riff specifically, there's like a palm muted thing that I kept rushing on accident. Those two palm mutes there, I just wanted to lock them in because that's like the anchor of that riff, and if I play it kind of off, it's noticeable. But yeah, aside from that, no quantizing. I just played it as tight as I could. From there, we hit our drums. Nothing different than I've been doing. The last few videos, I've been keeping the same-ish drum chain, and that's because I've been working on some similar projects. Like, for example, we're working on songs for Crim. If I want these songs to all sound good in context with one another, or sound like the same record, for example, I'd keep a similar drum sound. I might like mix it slightly different. I might swap out like a snare or something, but in this case, I wanted to keep this sound that we're doing, which is Superior Drummer 3. A lot of the Easy Drummer death metal samples, but I'm bolstering it with some layers of the kick. Sometimes I layer a snare depending on the song. Swapping out some of the crashes to make it a little more realistic sounding. And yeah, I do all of that. I do a lot of bus processing. So some radiator and Oxford inflator just to kind of beef up the sound. Just some excitement going into API 2500 for drum glue, bus compression stuff. This like EQ curve. Scooping out some mids there, which honestly was in here from a template that I used from another song, but I might remove that because I do like how the mid frequencies sound. Then I have this L2 limiter that's not doing anything right now, but I keep it there as like a fail safe to like catch any transients. If a kick or snare I'm like hitting extra hot. Yeah, also have some shaker and tambourine stuff I recorded. Just to add some air to the drums and the hook. It's hardly noticed, but it's one of those things that's felt more, you know? Yeah, I wanted to play with style here, try to match something close to that Underoathy, static dressy kind of sound. And I feel like I did that. I got the guitar, aside from the guitar tone, I'm playing in drop D, which was like the sound of there. At first I was riffing in standard, but I realized that wasn't giving me like the chord shapes and like sounds that I wanted to do. This riff I feel like is very Define the Great Line era. They love those panic notes and like hammer on kind of riffs, like very loose. It's funny, I feel like when I was younger listening to the Underoath, I thought that their guitar was a little more on the simple side because they weren't doing like some of the super fast metal riffing that other metalcore bands are doing at the time. But trying to play this and get all the different parts right, it's tricky. It's like deceptively difficult. I love how that sounds. But yeah, that's it. That's how I made a song. Sounds like early 2000s post-hardcore. Sounds like this. That's how not just how I made it, but that's also how I thought about things while approaching it. Yeah, I think it sounds cool. It's really fun. Shorter video today. I just kind of wanted to explain this one. But yeah, made it this far. I hope you like it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Trying to be more frequent with the videos, trying to be more helpful responding in comments. So let me know. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And with that all being said, peace out.